Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
I went a couple days later, I went to the building department, looked up the blueprint, and sure enough, Your Honor, I have the proof. There's no driveway there. And that's it. That's where I'm at.
This seems to be a recurring problem in the boroughs of New York.
This is the plaintiff, Maddie. She says she parked her car on the street and it was towed. She went to court and fought the ticket and it was dismissed. She was towed because she parked in front of someone's driveway. But as it turns out, the defendant's driveway is illegal and the man had no right getting her car towed. She's suing for $5,006.76 for all she's now out. This is the defendant, Joel. He says he bought his house 13 years ago, and the driveway was already there. He doesn't like having to call the cops on people, but this woman parked for 5 days blocking his driveway, so he had her car towed. Bottom line, the cops ticketed her car. It was towed, and he has no responsibility to pay the plaintiff anything, let alone $5,000. He's accused of causing a parking predicament. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $500 for aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been affirmed, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Ms. Maddie, you are suing Mr. Joel for $5,006.76 in damages that you say you are out because he has an illegal parking curb and got you towed. All right, talk to me and tell me what happened.
I was parked not directly in front of his house. I was parked, his house is 15, I was parked in front of 17. Maybe just 6 inches going towards his curve. That's it. It wasn't until 2 days later when I was going back to work, I noticed my car was missing. I had to get to work, I had to open my store, and the next day, of course, I went to the precinct. I didn't know if it was stolen or what. At the precinct, I was told, no, your car was towed.
And so what'd you do?
The next day, I went and got it from the tow. I also had a ticket. And I said, wait a minute, there's no driveway there. How could I get a ticket for parking in the driveway? So I went, a couple days later, I went to the building department, looked up the blueprint, and sure enough, Your Honor, I have the proof. There's no driveway there. And that's it. That's where I'm at.
This seems to be a recurring problem in the boroughs of New York.
Yes, it is. Parking is
an issue, and according to you, this one's illegal. I'm going to find out now what he has and his side of the story, but I'm getting case after case like this where people are creating their own parking space without going through the legal ramifications of having to do so, where you have to get a permit and you have to be approved, and they may not approve you because it's so busy in the area, which is why you're trying to get your, pave your front yard and get that parking space, because it's so busy. So it's like this crazy. All right, so you have some pictures that you've provided me. What is this a picture of?
I guess the defendant's car.
Which one? The one that's in the center?
Yes.
And then somebody else is blocking that driveway then?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Is that some other car from your house? Yeah. Oh, I guess you make 2 parking spaces out of that. You have the one on your land, and then people are afraid because it probably says no. Does it say no parking or no?
No.
No. Does this cement slant down?
No. I don't know exactly. No, actually, I have a better picture over here.
Looks like there's a curb. Do you have to drive over the curb to get your car in?
It's like an 1.5 inches high, or maybe 2 inches high.
Right. So is this a legal parking space that you have etched out for yourself?
It's not something that I etched out for myself. I bought this house 13 years ago, and this is exactly how it's been since I moved in there.
Did you pour the concrete in front of that house?
Nope.
So the person before you did?
The person before me, the house came with it.
The house came with it, so you assume somebody before you did?
Yeah, so some of the evidence that I provided to the court was from 13 years ago, an appraisal that was done on the house, and it says there's a driveway there. And when I bought the house, the real estate agent writing that there was a driveway there as well. So it's not something that's new. It's something that's been there for many, many years. And I guess it's a new problem, also people doing it, but I don't know if what...
Has this issue come up, like people
Never.
have been complaining or something?
Nobody.
Have you ever had to tow anybody before?
No, I never had to tow anybody.
Do you even have a
before.
no parking sign there?
No, it's a driveway.
And there's I know, but so if I'm driving there and I see, it's cement in front of your house where you're parking your car. But if I'm not seeing the curb cut that the city puts in, and I'm seeing an actual 2-inch curb in front of your house, I'm thinking, well, bully for him that he's found a place to put his car, but I need a place to put my car because I got to go to work or I got to go to wherever.
So the curb, the way it works is, besides for the driveway, it's about 6 feet high. It's 6 inches high. Where my driveway is, it's only like an inch and a half.
When you say that, it's an inch and a half. First of all, if it was a real driveway, it would be completely flat, right?
I don't know that.
Well,
I mean, this is the first time in 13 years that anybody parked.
Well, what does your survey say? Like, in other words, it does. I hear you. Oh, when they sold it to me, they said that, and I have an appraiser that walks in, looks, and says, and says that. But what does this? When this case happened, and you got a lawsuit, did you go down to the city to see what it says?
I didn't because I just thought it was nuts. Nobody ever parked in front of my driveway before, and to me, this is a legal driveway. So for me,
now, did you call the cops and the cops gave her a ticket?
So I called the cops. I asked them, what am I supposed to do? Somebody's blocking my driveway, and it's not 6 inches. It's more like 25 to 30% of my driveway was blocked. So if somebody would park on the other side, I wouldn't be able to get out.
So you call the police to come and give her a ticket when she's 25% blocking because you're worried that someone else is going to park there.
I called the police department 4 to 5 days after leaving it there because I don't like...
So tell me, wait, how many days was the car there?
4 to 5 days.
How long was your car there?
2-3 days the most.
Why, though? Why was it 2 or 3 days?
Your Honor, back then...
Do you live in the area?
Yes, we have a home there.
And then when you parked, did you...
There was no car. No, I parked in the afternoon, early afternoon.
So you didn't see, like you didn't look to your left and see anything? You didn't see anything yellow on the bottom? You didn't see...
Nothing.
You saw a curb, so you thought you had a good space?
Your Honor, those are road houses. They don't have driveways.
So what happened to the ticket?
It was dismissed.
Do you have the dismissal?
Yes, I do.
Did you go to the town and to the town? It's really Manhattan, right? Who has these records? And did you go to the government and see whether this was a legal driveway or an illegal driveway?
Yes.
Without authority?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Okay, hand me those things.
Here's the ticket dismissed.
Okay, it couldn't be clearer that it's not dismissing it on the merits. that it's dismissing it because it's illegible. So that doesn't help us. But that doesn't decide the case for me either. Where's the actual survey from the government that shows that he doesn't have a parking?
Oh.
Yeah.
And I believe I gave you from the building department.
Just a second. There's so much handwriting on everything that I don't know what's you talking to me and what's the building department.
I'm sorry,
How did you get your hands on this?
From the building department.
Who's doing all the handwriting? Because that's not normal for them to write on it. Whose handwriting is this?
My sister's.
Court is in recess.
This court is back in session.
All right. I wanted to take a moment to make sure that these records were legit because, you deserve that. And I'm looking at where people have a legitimate auto space. And not only that, at some point you called the city, did you not? And complained about him calling this a parking space.
Yes, I did call the police and I said to them, I can't believe that I got a ticket and my car was towed when I was parked legally.
Right. And I don't know when you called the building inspector and when they went out. I do know. 3 months later, they go out. And at the precise moment when they go, they don't see your car, so you didn't get a violation. However, what the building department says is no violation warranted for complaint at time of inspection, no curb cut, driveway, or parked vehicle observed at the time. So the city itself is saying that you have no curb cut. The survey that she got from the city is saying you have no curb cut. You made a statement earlier that the realtor sold it to you that way. Do you have any evidence of that?
That's one of the evidence I gave you.
Which is what? The realtor's listing or what?
The listing of the realtor.
Yeah.
That it states on the bottom over there that there's a driveway.
Hold on one second. It says parking space, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
On the bottom. It's not a parking space. It needs to be made legal. You need to actually get a permit for it and then have the city cut the curb, right? Because they're the ones who do it. And it's just not. See, here's where the problem lies. We're looking at a curb that's a couple of inches big. That's their first kind of clue that this was made up, because that's not what the city has been doing for decades and decades and decades. They do a cut that is smooth so that your car isn't driving over a 2-inch curb, okay? So I think we know. I think we know when it's row houses and there's not an alley. I think we know. And I'm kind of getting tired of that side getting duped in this regard. And then on the other hand, you get a ticket for it. Mm-hmm. Which is nuts that you get the ticket for it. And there's actually, because I've had so many of these cases, I've looked up and read that there's actually a councilman who's sick of this too. I don't know, he must have gotten a ticket or something. But he's actually got a great idea, which is to have a database of what's legal and what's not. Because the cops don't know. They're like, yeah, it looks like a driveway. Then they issue you a ticket. That's so unfair to you. Mm-hmm. And if all these row houses start doing that, all of a sudden it's a whole block you can't park in that you should be able to park in. And if you go and then apply for it, they may say, no, congestion's too bad. So you have no incentive to apply for it and to say, hey, I need to know. Because if they tell you, no, it's not, now you got no park. So, at the end of the day, she's shown me enough evidence where the burden shifts to you, She's given me, everything that she needs to give me to show me that it is not a government-sanctioned parking space, and I don't see why she should be out the tow charge. I mean, she's not going to get $5,000. I mean, what's this about? $3,000 potential loss of business and $1,500 for mental anguish. Tell me all about that.
Time I took off from work to do my research, to get my car
Apparently,
out.
Your sister's doing all the research.
My sister is my right hand.
Yeah, clearly. But no, you don't get that. You don't turn a $168.76 case into a $5,000 case over that. You have a counterclaim against her for $500 for aggravation?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, 0 on that, I can tell you. And with everything that she has presented to me, because she really has presented a ton of evidence, I'm not going to watch her eat the 168 because everybody's always been acting like you have your own ability to park there and stop others from blocking you. I don't think it's appropriate to do that, and I'm going to order you to pay her for the tow, even though the police gave her the ticket. So only because I'm looking at it and it's very clear that it doesn't look like you have a parking space, and only because I think you know that you don't, even though it got marketed that way, because you know you're driving over a curb to get there. Verdict for the plaintiff, $168.76.
So the plaintiff wins the case. She doesn't get $5,000. She got $160-some. Joel, let me just ask you, I think you've learned something from this whole experience, haven't you?
Well, number one, I have to figure out how to make this driveway legal. I have to find out exactly if it is illegal or isn't. It seems like it's not. So it's something that I will be looking into.
All right, sir. Well, good luck to you. I guess you're going to have to go to the city and work on this, but it'd be worth your while to do it.
Thank you.
Right? Thank you. There you go. All right. Now, if Maddie, who is the plaintiff in this case, you're to be congratulated. You did a lot of research. Good for you. How much time did you spend researching and working on this?
Hours.
Are you glad? Do you think it was worthwhile now?
I thought the judge was a little unfair. I should have gotten back some of the hours I lost at work.
Maybe it's a moral victory. Look at it that way, right?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Congratulations, and good luck for all the work you did.
Doug, couple of things. One is that a contractor has a duty to make sure that when that contractor does work, it is in compliance with the law. The other thing you should know is it is always a good idea, especially if it's a big job, to hire a licensed contractor because A, they've been tested, and B, usually they'll have a bond that you could use if they do something wrong.
What can I do in the state of South Carolina to get my property manager and the corporate owners of the property to fix or replace my air conditioner? They send a maintenance employee out, but after a few days, it's broken again. I pay my rent on time every month. Can I withhold my rent until this is fixed without getting evicted? Or can I have someone fix it and show the receipt for the repair or replacement? What do you think?
Well, I think that what you have to do is create a record,
right,
because you're going to be asked about this no matter what you end up doing. You have to justify what you did. So I would give them at least 3 shots.
Right, to fix it.
And if after 3 shots, it's definitely not getting fixed, then I would hire a different AC guy.
Right.
And that person would charge me, whatever it is. Let's say it's $300. And I would withhold the $300 from whichever entity gets my rent.
Right.
So I would deduct from next month's rent the $300 I had to pay,
right,
along with a note that explains
I
that
gave you opportunities to
I
fix
gave you 3
it.
opportunities. Right. I've had to stay at
Right.
home and wait
it's
for
110
a repairman.
degrees outside.
I cannot do this. And so I've paid
Right.
somebody. Now the problem is solved.
Right.
Now there are no further issues, and you want to make sure that if you're doing that there are no further issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you spend the money and then it didn't solve it either,
right,
then you might have newer issues with them about getting them to let you deduct it. So,
right.
So hopefully it solves the issue.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Life is full of things to manage. Your work, your family, your plans, and your treatment. Consider Kesimpta, ofatumumab 20 milligram injection. You can take it yourself from the comfort of home. If you're ready for something different, ask your healthcare provider about Kesimpta and check out the details at Kesimpta.com. Brought to you by Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation.
This is the plaintiff, Chandra. She says she was hired by the defendant to be chief of staff at his sports entertainment agency. And the guy lost his cool and said vulgar things to her. He made her feel very uncomfortable. She left that company and is suing him for the $8,000 she says she's owed. This is the defendant, Scott McZeal. He says the plaintiff left him high and dry on the very event she was hired to plan, and she wants $8,000? Please. This is nothing more than an attempted money grab, claiming he harassed her, which he did not, and he owes nothing. He's accused of stiffing a worker. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $8,000 for tortious interference of business.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she was hired by the defendant to run a sports entertainment company, but he made her feel very uncomfortable, ultimately ended up quitting, says he owes her money. But the defendant says the woman left him high and dry on an event she was supposed to plan, so he owes her Zippo. It's the case of too close for discomfort.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Chandra, you are suing Mr. McZeal and Suite 2112, LLC, his company, for $8,000, $1,290.25 in wages.
Yes.
And the rest of it in harassment and punitive damages to get us to that statutory maximum. You have a counterclaim against her for, there's a surprise, $8,000 for tortious interference with business. Let me hear from you first, Ms. Chandra. What is this about?
I met Scott about 17 years ago. He was the CEO of an online magazine by the name of The Urban Flavor. I was the editor-in-chief of the magazine for about 2 years. We parted ways. It was on good terms. We had a relatively good working relationship. I, in the meantime, went on with my career, but I suffered from some severe medical issues, which rendered me disabled. I had a brain aneurysm. I had a stroke on the operating table. I have multiple myeloma cancer. I had a tumor in my spine, and now I have a rod in my back. So I've had a lot of different issues. Scott called me out of the blue in April asking me if I wanted a job. And I have sorely missed working, being on disability. And I said that I would do it. He offered me to be the chief of staff of his startup company. I was to basically do relationship management for him.
What does the company do?
It is a sports and talent, like an entertainment agency.
All right, so you're going to get paid how much a month?
$1,000 per month.
And you're supposed to work how many hours for that?
Well, we didn't determine how many hours I was going to work, and that actually was a big mistake because I end up working some days like 15, 16 hours a day. I still go to chemotherapy every week on Tuesdays. And it was times that he even called me at 3:15 in the morning saying, we have to get to work. And it really put into perspective for me that, yes, I am disabled and I cannot handle such a workload.
Well, you certainly can't handle a 3:15 in the morning phone call when you're on chemotherapy. You're still getting treatments. No, that's,
Exactly.
There's work and then there's work. But in any event, let me just ask you what happens. You start working and do you get paid?
No, I never got paid. Okay. I started working. Initially, we were trying to solicit new clients. And then about 2 weeks into working together, he changed his mind and said, I want to have a launch party to present the Suite 2112 to the world, essentially.
Okay.
So he told me, I want you to now focus primarily on this.
Okay.
And so I started.
Where was the party going to be?
In West Palm Beach, Florida.
Where, though?
Well, that's the thing. I was looking for venues, and I was looking at mansions that he wanted to rent out and essentially pass them off as his own home. And I researched different equipment like tables, chairs. I worked with the chef. I worked with the bartender. The bartender is a witness actually of mine. Scott, he sent out the invitations. And as they confirmed, he would texted to me, and then I would keep a tally of them.
Okay.
So the confirmed list was upward of 300 people. The thing is he was looking for sponsorship or partnership from big name companies to pay for the event, because
to launch his business.
Exactly, because I was doing the research for it, and the budget, it was close to $20,000 to pull off this sort of high class event that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and go on.
Actually, you know what? Can I make one more thing?
Sure.
I wanted to say one more thing about the proposals that he was sending out to these companies. He was telling them outlandish things like he represented the biggest names in the industry. He has no clients.
Okay. So now there's a party, and the party's X amount of time away. You've now been working a month and 9 days. You have not been paid, and what happens?
Basically, 2 days before the event, I still had not had flight information. We still have not confirmed the venue. We still had no funding whatsoever. His position was he was not going to spend any money out of his own pocket for this party. The discussion of my flights, because I live in Kentucky, my flights going down to there, because I asked him specifically, do you need me at this party? He says, yes, I need you there to be a body woman for me, essentially to stand by him throughout the whole party, to talk to guests, keep him on task, and to keep other folks from interfering with talking to him. And yes, that is because he has future ambitions of running for president. So he wanted to present himself as being presidential. So basically, when the subject of my flight came up, he sent me a text message, and the text messages were, actually, why can't you get your man to buy you your flight? And I responded, not his responsibility. He's already concerned that I have not gotten paid yet, so he's definitely not going for that. Then Scott responded, his woman is all his responsibility. I'm willing to ask my friend, but you're not willing to ask the man who is you?
Oh, my goodness.
And then he said, I got to pitch your man on why he should hold down his woman. And after those text messages, I called him and I told him, look, you have crossed the line. It is a point of no return. I am not working with you anymore. So
did the party happen?
Then the next day is the party. And that's where my witness comes in, because she actually attended the party.
Well, good. Let me hear from your witness. Okay, what is your name?
Lakeitha McZill.
Are you related to Mr. McZill?
From what I understand, I am a distant cousin from his father's side.
Okay. Did you know him before the party?
I had spoken with him a couple of times online. 2 weeks before the party was the first I had spoken to him in a few years.
Okay, so you went to the party, and where was the party held?
It started out at the clubhouse of the community that his mother lived in, and moved to a second location, which was an art studio.
Go on.
Well, I can't really call it a party.
Okay, why not?
Because there was no party. There was a get-together of about, at the height of it, 10 to 15 people.
Okay.
I definitely attended. I live in Houston, Texas. I paid for my own flight out there under the assumption that it was this grand party that I was going to be able to make a couple of grand from, and of course recoup my own personal costs getting there.
Make a couple of grand from doing what? Were you going to work at the party?
Bartending the party.
Oh, you were going to bartend the party. So you bankrolled your own trip, thinking I'll make the money, as a bartender. And what had you been told by him the party would look like?
It fluctuated between 150 to 300 guests, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, Mr. McZill, let me talk to you. You were starting what kind of a business?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for your time. We are a sports and entertainment agency. We represent NBA, NFL, MLB, no NHL, actors, actresses, comedians, supermodels. It really ranges the gamut.
How many clients do you have?
Right now, we have 14 to 17, but we're unloading about 7 to 10 more. And that's going to even grow a lot more.
Okay, the 14 to 17 that you got when? Because according to Ms. Chandra, you didn't have any and you were doing a launch party.
Yeah.
So when did you get the clients?
Chandra actually, number one, I got the clients. It's a confidential matter, so I'm working with lawyers right now. So I didn't apprise Chandra of anything because it's a legal matter. I didn't make her privy to the contracts because she was an administrative assistant intern. So I didn't really see the need to.
Okay. So did you hire her to work for you?
So I was in and out of hospitals. I deal with mental health issues, just like Chandra, ranging from ADHD to bipolar and depression. And so, I've been trying to get my levels right as far as my medication. In the midst of that, I did reach out because I was starting my company. But I was heavily medicated too. And, I feel somewhat taken advantage of because she knew that I was in and out of hospitals. She's been in and out of hospitals. But we did talk around it. I asked Chandra on several times. I'm a lawyer, so I wanted an agreement. Roughly 4 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks after I asked for that agreement, she finally sent it, just a draft. I never got even a chance to look at it or send it to my lawyers. We were just talking about a role.
Okay, I'm confused, though, because in your answer to the complaint, your argument is not that you didn't hire her, but that you agreed to pay her $500 a month and not $1,000 a month. So which is it?
What we had talked about was treating her like I do my interns, which is $500 a month, 3 months, and then we can figure out her role at that point in time.
You're a lawyer. You commented that you were a lawyer. Have you ever practiced law?
No, ma'am. I'm a non-practicing attorney.
Got it. Yeah. Well, that's the best kind. But anyway, talk to me about this party that she was helping you to plan.
Yeah, absolutely, Your Honor. So basically what I wanted to do was, number one, I work with a lot of billionaires and athletes and entertainers. So what I wanted to do was really marry the concept of a lot of these entertainers. They need financing. So I just really wanted to plug two communities together that really had an admiration for each other. And I really wanted to help. A lot of my clients are African Americans. So really what I was trying to do was kind of help them get financing that they would never get. And that was really the goal. This wasn't a launch party, anything like that. It started off being something that was going to be an intimate affair. But I wanted strategically to open that up to the community so that my community could be inspired by seeing athletes, entertainers, billionaires.
Right. But were they at your party?
Well, that was the issue. When, Chandra she was the quote unquote event manager, right? Or managing the event. So she had access.
I thought she wasn't even employed, you said.
She was doing projects for me. I mean, we had no agreement. So, but what I felt was we were going to get to an agreement. We just hadn't gotten to it.
Okay, but I don't understand then. Why is she already working? Agreement comes first and working comes later.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate is the world's biggest coffee lover because we love all the ways you enjoy. Wait. Coffee Mate can't love coffee more than me. I'm a foodie. I went to Kyoto just for a nitro matcha latte. What? Oh, I have to finish the ad. Coffee Mate, for the love of coffee.
You said she had sent you something, but you never got around to showing it to your lawyers. Where's the something she sent you?
I have it in my email, but it was basically kind
Ms.
of like a standard.
Chandra, do you have anything that you sent over to him regarding your employment?
Yes, I
saw a blank form. It didn't have anything written on it, including the price. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay, that doesn't do me much good. Right. So tell me, this party was supposed to have, according to Chandra, was supposed to have like 300 people. What ended up happening?
So what ended up happening was roughly 75 to 100 showed up because we didn't have an event manager. The event venue fell through. The caterer fell through, which was Chandra's responsibility.
Why didn't you have an event manager?
That was Chandra's role.
I'm sorry.
Supposed role.
If she's still not employed by you, but that was her role, to be your event manager, why didn't you fly her in?
I did. I actually bought her ticket.
When did you buy her a ticket?
The day before the event.
Right. And, so she asked you, hey, I still haven't heard about how you're flying me in. What's going on? And she says that you said to her, why don't you have the man who's you buy you a ticket? Did you do that?
I did say, Your Honor, I did say that. And sometimes, as far as mental health issues, sometimes you don't say the right thing. And sometimes, listen.
Okay, but why didn't you just buy her? Okay, if this was a business event, by the time you did it, she was already done with you and had quit. So why didn't you buy her a ticket in a timely fashion and tell her, yeah, here's your ticket? Instead you tell her, no, pay for your own ticket. Get your man to do it. The guy who's you to do it. Of course she was going to quit and not come. So are you blaming the caterer bailing and all these? I think they bailed because they weren't paid, because they don't know anything about whether she's flying in 5 days before. How is her not flying in 5 days before going to stop the caterer from catering?
Well, she was the primary contact.
What difference does it make whether she's a primary contact? Pick up the phone and call the caterer.
It made a lot of difference because she was the only one communicating. I wasn't doing that. I was working on the invitations.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that she hired a caterer?
She did talk to Chef.
Okay. Did you hire a caterer, Ms. Chandra?
Your Honor, the caterer is actually Scott McZill's mother's best friend.
Oh, so she didn't hire the caterer. You did.
No, right. That's how I got the information.
So why would they bail? Because they know how to reach you. So why would they bail just because she wasn't working for you?
Well, like I said, she was the primary. I wasn't talking.
Calling her the primary contact is like, it does not answer my question. The party should still go on. And then you got somebody else handling her duties. That's how it works. But you're suggesting that the party that was going to have 300 billionaires, celebrities, and athletes and all this, that it didn't happen because she didn't fly in. She didn't fly in because you told her to get the guy sleeping with her to fly her in instead of flying her in to be the manager. You hadn't paid her anything yet. She'd done all this work and hadn't gotten one penny. But what I'm trying to understand is how on earth that would cause your caterer not to show up. And now we hear the caterer is uniquely connected to you. So that's not why a caterer didn't show up.
I do want to mention, I feel like I'm being attacked for being an entrepreneur and being creative and trying to create opportunities for people.
What you're being sued for is the $1,290.25 she says she has earned by working for you, and then also harassment and punitive damages. So I guess, yes, you are being attacked. And then you're suing her for tortious interference of business. So let me just ask you, how did she, in a tortious fashion, interfere with your business?
Yes, ma'am. So the party was supposed to be co-hosted by former NBA player. He had some just legal challenges. And what Chandra did independently was put in front of Mr. an agreement, and she actually signed my name. I never gave her power of attorney at all.
That's not true.
So she put me into a $10,000 agreement.
Okay, you tell me your side of that, Chandra.
That's not true. He told me that he was going to be the co-host for the event. He told me to write a letter basically saying a personal appearance letter to give to his probation officer so he can have permission to travel to Florida to attend the event, to go ahead and send it. And I signed my name. I didn't forge Scott McZill's.
How can you sign your name? You're not a representative of the company.
So, but that's not a fraud. If you told her to do that and sign her name, then she signed her name. You said she signed your name. You said she signed your name.
I never signed his name.
I never told her to get to any agreement on behalf of me.
So is this something you're getting sued for, that $10,000?
Yes, he wants his money.
Yeah.
I'm now into agreement with him because of Chandra.
All right, folks, I'm gonna really terminate the agreement between you two and bring this home. I don't find that there's harassment or punitive damages or tortious interference of business for anybody here. I do find that she's entitled to wages. Even at $1,000, it would be under what is legal in terms of minimum wage. But I also believe her when she says that you agreed to that, because you've kind of been all over the map. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,290.25.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get $1,290 from the defendant, not the $8,000 she was seeking. Mr. McZill, what are you thinking? You got a $10,000 lawsuit against you. Now you've just a judgment for $1,290 against you from the judge.
Well, listen, I have some of the best lawyers in the world that work for me, so I'm not worried about that. For $1,200 to never have to talk to Chandra again, or never have to see her face or get out of my life, that's actually a deal. And I want to thank you, the People's Court, as well as I want to thank Jesus Christ, so that I never have to deal with her. So thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Okay, very good. I think you put that to a close. All right, Chandra, let me ask you how you feel about this. You're not going to get the $8,000 you wanted, but you do get something, and it's pretty significant.
I do.
Significant. What do you think?
I'm glad that I am getting paid the wages. I would have liked the judge to hear some of the harassing things that he said to me, threatening me, saying racist things to me, sexist things to me, talking about my disability. And I'm glad that I hope he will stop contacting me. So I hope this puts it to an end.
Well, I think it has. So look, good luck to you. Congratulations, $1,290.
Okay, Doug, you can always go to court. We know that, right? You can also do something else in a lot of states. If somebody owes you wages, if you have a state labor commission, and most states do, go to them first because they may be able to work it out without the hassle of court.
I was wondering if my friend can file a claim against her previous landlord for keeping her deposit for having bed bugs. The bed bugs were there before she moved in about 4 years ago.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you saying she lived 4 years with bed bugs?
Yes. I don't know how anybody manages that. That can't be very comfortable. Can't get a good night's sleep.
No. My answer is yes. You can lodge a suit against the landlord and get your money back.
To recover your security.
To recover your security, because something like saying, hey, you brought bed bugs in here,
right.
How on earth are you going to prove that?
Yeah, right. Whose fault is it that their bed bugs are there? Maybe it's the landlord's fault. I don't know.
Who knows? And it could be the apartment next door's fault. So unless the landlord is in a position to prove that they brought the bed bugs in and didn't do something about it, and the something would be to bomb the bed bugs, and so I would need to know more. But unless the landlord has, hey, it ruined all this furniture, it ruined this, and the place was furnished, and there's no one for miles around, I would have to know facts that.
Do you think you need expert testimony to prove a case like that?
Well, I don't think you can get it.
Right.
The bed bugs know where they came from, and the bed bugs ain't talking.